game! Random game! Game start!
The book that I adore so much, and I know that you guys also love to read fantasies, right? Yeah. So now, I want to know, why did you accept this invitation? Because I was screaming. I was very excited when you accepted my invite. So I want to know what made you come here. Andrew,
always been a fan of the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Watch your previous episode regarding on the Chronicles of Narnia, like The Lion, the Witch, and I can't wait to like make reviews about the Prince Caspian.
Interesting. Now, Louie, I want to hear from you too.
Like, as I received your invitation last week, then I have known that the topic for this podcast is Narnia. Like, who's not going to be interested, right? Like, speaking of Narnia, like, growing up, watching or reading this book makes you feel nostalgic.
Yes, I agree.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, okay, that's it. That's very interesting to hear from you. Now, Steve, what about you?
Actually, I'm not a very good reader, so instead of reading books, I actually watch a lot of movies, fantasy movies, and I want to hear from everyone to get into books rather than.
So you invited this for you to
as a door to much more.
But it's also to enjoy more about fantasy.
Yeah.
Now, Shayla, what about you?
So after receiving your message about this invitation for this episode, I immediately told myself that I needed to do this. This is a part of me saying that this is your childhood, this is something that you should be reliving, reminiscing, because Narnia has been a part of my childhood really. Even before I learned reading, I was able to watch the movie first before reading the actual book. And it was really nice, and I think that this is a perfect time to share this with people, with friends that also share the same sentiments as me.
I love hearing that. It's really interesting. I want to know if fantasy is also your favorite genre. Yeah. I hope so.
Yes.
It's my absolute destiny for us to gather here.
As a little girl, yes.
Yeah. So now, since you invited this, you accepted this invite. So let's dive deeper into the book itself.
Yes.
But before that, I actually have an interesting twist, like a little game for us to play with. I prepared some questions. I asked help from the fans and from Twitter. So here it is. Now, as we all know that this book is a popular literature.
Yeah.
First, I want to know your sentiment about why is this book considered to be a popular literature? I want to know from you. You want to go on first, Steve?
Sure. So, as we all know, popular hits have a distinct characteristic that differs in academic writing, and Prince Caspian happens to have that informal setting, characters, and elements, as well as a simple tone, which makes it much more readable for other readers, which have an imaginative feel to it. So yeah, I think that because it has characteristics of a popular literature.
Andrew.
Aside from all these elements of fiction that he mentioned, I do actually think that this book or this novel is considered as popular literature because it is somewhat relatable to each one of us, especially for children, and it's really easy for us to grasp or to understand the whole story because the choice of words are clear. It was never vague, and yeah, it's relatable for all.
Yeah, how it's written by the author is
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, Louie, what
Like-
about you?
I think it's considered as popular because the word popular, many people have enjoyed it since then. And up until now, many people have been loving this book, this novel. Then, yeah, I think that's it.
That's interesting. Now, lastly, Miss Beautiful, why do you think you're so?
Well, first, before answering the question, like I would like to commend Steve for the very critical, analysis on
You, girl.
on the reason why it was for someone who is not really into reading. Like it was very
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm actually a literature major.
Wow.
It's very ironic because I don't read much.
Maybe this is the beginning or the start of
Yeah.
your love.
Yeah, I hope so.
So to answer the question, so I think that aside from the characteristics that Steve had mentioned, I think that it really is the timelessness of the themes, the lessons that this book is really giving to the people. And the themes or the concept of this book is really resonating to every generation, every culture, and every race, every people, everyone can relate. So regardless of your age, your color, your gender, your race, your identity, you really can relate to this because this is something that we could really learn from generally. So yeah, that's the reason why it's really popular.
Not really of the word, but I love how he step out of his comfort zone.
Thank you.
Because I really don't think that you have to be a bookworm or a bibliophile just for you to try literature, right? And this book could be like a great start, like Steve, to explore the world of literature. And now, for sure, lovely viewers, listeners, wanna hear us answer their questions that they raised from internet. So first, should I go on first, Keith?
You should.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Now, this is such an interesting question. I love this. So, which character from the book you personally resonate with the most? I go first. I really love Lucy, right? Because even if she's the youngest, she already has a big heart, right?
Yeah.
I love how she believed in Aslan, even though her siblings and even Chongqing, they really had their doubts. But Lucy, she really proceed on believing Aslan, and look what happened. So yeah, Aslan is real, and that I think is really something that I wanna bring until I grow old to believe in something even if others don't. To stand firm in what I believe in. So yeah, that's why I really love Lucy. What about you? You?
Like, my favorite character in this book is like Ribbit Chip.
The mouse.
The mouse.
Ribbit Chip, man. Family.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's small, but you can really say that chivalry is not dead.
Yes.
Like, he's so loyal to the point that even though others are doubting the existence of Aslan, like, he still believes in him. Right? His loyalty to the throne and to Narnia, you could never question, especially with his family. Like, to the point that they are so loyal to their family and to Narnia that when Ribbit Chip's tail have been cut off, like, they're willing to cut their own tail just to save Ribbit Chip from shame. I love how loyal they are.
And it's really good that their loyalty is not just about their blind obedience to Aslan. It's really because they believe the goodness that Aslan brings to Narnia. So that's really nice. It's really hard to find people or people there. It's really hard to find like them who are loyal. They are really very loyal and faithful.
Which is kind of rare these days. But
Yeah.
And I hope we have more people people like them in the reality, in the world that we are living in.
Of course.
Okay, next question is I'd love Andrew to the next question.
Wait. Give them some Okay.
Go on.
So the question is, what's that one lesson in the book that you believe changed your life? So the lesson, so for me personally, I really, the lesson that the book really want to tell us is that faithfulness,
Yes.
loyalty. Because even if others do not really believe in what you're believing, but if you stand firm in your ground, and if you like fight for what is right, if you remain faithful, especially it's really common, especially in the Christian religion.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is one thing that the priest always trying to tell us each like gospel reading or each homilies, that you must remain faithful and stand for what is right. It is just the right thing to do. Yeah.
Because to believe is to see.
Correct. Absolutely.
Not to cease to believe.
Correct. Yeah.
Believe is the same.
Yeah.
For real.
And with this faithfulness, I love how also the old Narnians, they've been believing Aslan even if they never saw him again.
Yeah. It's
But,
over
yeah,
1,300 years after the first events of the witch, the land of witch's wardrobe.
But, yeah, imagine the power of believing. The power of faith. Like it creates magic, and it brings people to unite again, to be one again. And now look in the book, the Narnia, it was restored, right, under the rule of Prince Caspian, and that is, I believe, because of the people there really believe in goodness, in kindness. So I think that's really a lesson also that can change someone's life.
Yeah, then we also know that in times of despair or
Yeah.
when you lose hope, faith could be some kind of power to guide you on making things and decisions.
Yeah.
Like if you're not the person like who believes in God or something greater, like what kind of boring life is that? Like when you lose something, then you don't have a purpose in life. So that's where faith comes, diba? It's kind of powerful.
Yeah, not necessarily that you really have to believe in God, but at least you have something to believe in. Yeah.
And there's this one principle in one of my courses that I really learned, and it goes that if you die as a believer, then heaven turns out to be true. Then you have all the rights to go there. Then, but if you die as a non-believer, then heaven turns out to be real. Then it's your loss. I mean, you die and you go to hell. It's all about the test of faith.
Yeah. Matter of believing.
Yeah.
Now, next question. Shayla, maybe you want to take the next question?
Spill that tea.
They were controversial.
Spill that tea.
What could be the reason why Aslan was only visible to Lucy?
That's a nice question.
Very interesting. Well, this is very interesting and hard at the same time. But personally, as per my interpretation for the book, well, I think that Aslan was only visible to Lucy at first because it shows the nature of the innocence of the child. Like as a child, you're really someone who's very imaginative. Like you see many or lots of extraordinary things out of the ordinary things.
Yeah.
Diba? And for Lucy, it's really hard for her to convince her brothers and sisters that Aslan is real. That there really is a place called Narnia. It is hard for her. It is a challenge. And I think that that is also a time or a moment for her to prepare for leadership. Because that is one characteristic that a leader should also really possess. No? As a future queen, like, I think that it was also already a prophecy for them to be hailed as kings and queens of Aslan. I think that, or kings and queens of Narnia rather. And I think that's really kind of very interesting that it was really Lucy that first saw Aslan as a very tangible or very visible na character in his story.
Maybe because of his state of Aslan.
Yeah.
So strong.
Makes his presence. It's
Yeah.
also yes.
Yes. She believed in Aslan, that's why she saw Aslan.
Correct.
That's why also. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the reason why it's Lucy, because for us, for the readers, to learn that even if a person is young, even if a person is seemed to be innocent, she still has something to offer in the
It's not really a matter of age. Everyone really has something to offer. It's just a matter of listening to each other.
Something like you have to believe that even the impossible will be possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Next question would be maybe Steve. You wanna take the magic.
So the question is, why did Prince Caspian trust the Narnians more than his uncle if we believe in the old saying, blood is thicker than water? So I think the cliche saying, blood is thicker than water it's a proverb that the old generation believes, and that as we all know, the 21st century has this kind of different mindset compared to the older generation. I mean, not to discriminate them or anything, but I guess we are more liberated today. And going back to the question, I think Prince Caspian believed the Narnians as compared to his uncle was like
King Miraz.
Yeah, because the old Narnians has this principle of they symbolize the good and Miraz symbolize evil, and he found out that Miraz was actually planning to kill him or terminate him because of because the crown will be passed to his son, so Caspian will be no longer of use. And he's a hindrance to Miraz's plan. And Prince Caspian turned out to be a very good person, and they clicked to the Narnians because they are good people as well.
Yeah, and I think that it also has something to do with Prince Caspian's upbringing, because he really saw that what his uncle was doing wasn't the right thing. He was fully aware that what he was doing was against his moral. So he chose to go against his uncle and side with the old Narnians, because he knew that if siding with them would bring, or he was not really holding on to the biological relationship that he has with his uncle, because he was a future king of Narnia. And to be that person, you really need to choose the right decision. And it was the right decision to choose or to side with the old Narnians, because it was, I guess that it was just a perfect choice for him, no, right? Because regardless of the relationship that he had with the old Narnians, he didn't know anyone of them. Like he was only made aware of the existence of the old Narnians through the the stories that he heard about them. It really implies that it is not the blood that binds us, but rather our shared values that really gets us and defines relationship.
Very well said.
I love that.
And also, it also happens in real life, right? That we have these toxic family members. Then starting the generational curses, and there must be someone to break off that chain, right? And I love that Prince Caspian had the courage to choose what is good rather than just because he want to side with his uncle because biological blood. But no, he really chose the good path, the right
you were to summarize the book, what is that one word to describe it, and why do you think that word best fits the totality of the book?
One word.
Yes.
For me, the perfect word for this book is like magical.
Magical, yes.
You could see or know the things or the creatures that you could only imagine, like from fiction or from the creative mind of like being in this world. Like it feels just like so magical. Na drigin mo ma-feel ang reality, just like what Lucy felt. Na di na kayo ganahan, di na kayo ganahan, nag-just na Narnia na lang siya. So magical.
And I think it's also considered to be adventurous, because knowing the storyline itself, like Prince Caspian adventures, the four like kings and queens of the old adventures in their quest. It's something that we are really like really wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because we love adventures, we love to. Some of us like to be out of our comfort zones, want to explore many things, especially me, myself. I really love that. And yeah.
Me, personally, I think the one word that best fits the book is it's transformative.
Yeah.
Right? Because even if it's just fiction or it is only fantasy, there's still a lot of lessons that we can get from this book that we can apply to our lives, right? And I think that's the power of literature. It just really transforms life into something that makes us feel.
Literature really transcends lots of boundaries.
Beyond words.
I think one word cannot really fulfill, or like it is not enough to explain how much affect or how much emotions this book can evoke of this.
Yeah. So moving on.
Moving on, I think I should do the honors. Yeah. Oh, how did the book create a lasting impact to the readers after all these years? I think personally, because of its themes, it talked about family, friendship, faith. I think those themes really have a lasting impact because of how relevant it is today, even if this book was published so many years ago. Yeah. It still creates it captures readers with emotional triggers, and it's how it's written was really beautiful that you just don't wanna put down this book because of its beautiful storytelling and narrative.
And I think what binds the timeliness of the book is that it serves as a contrast between our harsh reality, and it serves as an escape towards the magic and realism that we experience today. And it has so many things such as talking animals, and in real life you don't see talking animals at all. So I think it's a good break for everyone if they want to read magic and they want to immerse themselves within the book. So.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned talking animals, because I think the author wants also us to learn that even animals have their own feelings.
Yeah.
They also have their lives to live, and we also should take care of them and nurture them just how we do with humans, right? It's very, very correct.
So
Next.
Next question, I think Andrew should do the honor.
If you can speak with the author today, what are you going to tell him about his own writings now? For me personally, I just want to say thank you to him for making this masterpiece, yes. And I also love his writing style because it's not really difficult to understand, because he chooses words which is comprehensible.
Even children can read.
Even children can read. And it's really perfect, especially with bedtime stories. Like if you wanted to take a short, I just want to read something before I go to sleep. I usually do that pretty often. And thinking that we can easily learn also if the right words will be chosen. And I think that is about it.
And just by making this book, like, idalaga tayo sa world where fun and adventure and magic,
Yeah.
it's full packed.
Yeah.
It's a good escape from reality.
Without leaving reality.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
lessons that you could learn. As for me, can I answer the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. For me, if I were given that opportunity to talk to such very author, a prominent author, right? All I can say, everything that I would say would all be comment. Like, I would like to commend his work. Like, very
Amazing.
it's a work of art. Like, his ability to blend the fantasy to reality.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to bridge and to combine both of those kind of factors, like the things that are unimaginable and the things that are reality. He was able to blend all of those without kind of having or giving us mixed signals, or like giving us the complexity to understand and comprehend the message of this one. Diba? So also he was able to really kind of give a more comprehensible explanation, or like a more comprehensible na like concept that is a faith. Like, faith and loyalties are really kind of things that is very hard to explain just by one sitting. Like, you cannot talk to somebody and just say, this is faith, this is loyalty. You can just do that. You have to make him experience those things, to make him understand what are those things. So by reading this book, I was able to realize and to understand what are those concepts.
So thank you, C.S. Lewis, for
That's what I have to tell him.
Wherever you, wherever
You
you
are amazing.
Shout out.
all of
Thanks for making this amazing book. Now, next question would be, why do you think it must be the wardrobe as the children's portal to another world? Oh my god, this is very hard. Yeah, like the author could have used the cupboard or the door.
anything at all.
The wardrobe, you
Or the
know,
trees itself.
Yeah.
portal. I think because the wardrobe is na may clothes, di ba? I don't know what may my clothes.
But anyways, like,
Wardrobe.
like the wardrobe really gives off the like idea that a wardrobe is something that we keep our private things and personal belongings.
Yeah.
And I think that going inside that wardrobe means getting to know who you truly are.
Yes.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Like, it is like a quest of knowing yourself, like the journey of continuously knowing who you truly are inside. It's very nice.
This just gave me a whole lot of new perspective about that question, because I was thinking more about the technical thing about the wardrobe. Because as we all know, as children, we are used to being mahadlok ta sa wardrobe, because our parents often tell us that there's monsters inside of them. And the fact that Lucy, a child, actually made that discovery makes sense, because why would we we wouldn't know that we fear something if dili nato i-try, diba? So Lucy going into that wardrobe is a very kanang start off some things. And yeah, I think it tackles the concept of fear and delving into it. So yeah.
If you've seen the movie, the wardrobe was it was very
eerie.
creepy,
Yeah.
actually. So if I were a kid, if I were Lucy, I wouldn't even look at it.
It's the only thing that stands in the room.
Very, very brave.
So thank God I was not born.
Then in real life, like, wardrobe is a place where clothes are, things like clothes, like by clothes we change like every day, diba? Like we try to different fits and all that. Maybe it starts with the wardrobe, because of that wardrobe, their lives start to change.
Yeah.
It's like, who would have thought from a wardrobe really?
Like change yun lang kinabuhi or the whole life going down sa pagsulat ng mga wardrobe. It's like, kung lagi ang wardrobe in real life change.
It's like a time machine or like a portal
Yeah.
or Narnia.
That's nice.
So,
Next question, maybe.
how many questions left?
Only one. Oh.
Okay, so the second to the last question is what can you recall from the book and which chapter is your
Oh my
favorite?
goodness.
Wow. This question is really hard to answer because there are a lot of good chapters. Like every chapter is very remarkable. There is really a scenario that is worth remembering. But for me, I think all majority of us would agree. I think that it would be chapter 15.
Yes.
Yeah, the last part.
Yeah, the last part because it's very satisfying to know that they were able to conquer, their like the problems that they were encountering. So it was nice that Aslan came back. It was very, very comforting
Yes.
to know that he came back for them. But
Also
it
in
was-
chapter 15 can unravel a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
But especially the mice. Just think about them because this is one of my favorite chapters. I just like the how the mice. What's the thing again?
Richard.
How humble he is.
Yeah.
Yes. Just really emotional. I even like
Don't
wow.
cry.
I even highlighted it. Just like wow.
But aside from the positive emotion it evoked, at some point I felt like it was very emotional for me and the book. Especially knowing that Susan and Peter can no longer go back to Narnia.
Why?
Only Edmund and Lucy can still go back because apparently there is no longer room for learnings in Narnia for Peter.
But they are growing up.
They're and I do not get it. I don't get why they no longer allow Susan and Peter because learning doesn't stop, diba? It doesn't stop when they age. Yeah, it's an ending process. Like every one of us is navigating life. I mean, there is a lot of things that we are still yet to learn. Diba? So not really is
Personally, I think because they're old enough, like as we grow old, we step to the world of the reality or the world of adults, right?
Yeah.
They have to face it.
Even though they experience Narnia, yun sila, they themselves experience Narnia. Narnia is their fantasy world. So, growing up, we would step into the world of adults where reality hurts and sometimes it burdens us.
So if that means that because Peter and Susan no longer allowed in Narnia, so doesn't mean if Lucy and Edmund are to grow up too, are they gonna be kicked out of Narnia or what?
That's the most probable thing that could happen. But I don't have really get logic of that because regardless if you are of age or you are already entering an period or an age wherein you are entering adulthood, there is still a part of us that would really need that childishness. Yeah. We really need to, at most times, or there would really be times and moments that we would have to rekindle our inner childhood or our love for fantasy. So we could not instantly get that out or like remove that from our system because we need it from time to time to remind us that no matter how hard the reality is or no matter how hard it is to bear the responsibilities of an adult, there is still a child within us that yearns for like the solace and the peace, the serenity that fantasy gives us.
Very well said.
Now for the last question, who would love to
Do the honors.
So the question is, why did the author, or C.S. Lewis, personify the non-human beings in the story? So why did he let the animals talk?
I think that's what I said earlier because animals have their feelings.
Yeah.
They also have their stories to tell. I think that's what the author actually wanted to also
tendency to have superiority complex.
Yeah.
We always think that we are above all other beings. No? It's really unfair for those animals, the trees that we treat them unfairly just because they were not able to defend themselves.
And when you think of it, animals and plants and trees can actually survive without humans.
Yeah.
It's humans
that
yeah.
cannot survive without them.
It's humans that's depending on them.
And
We're the ones-
it's ironic because we're the ones destroying it.
Yet we
We're
are the
destroying our
ones.
natural resources.
That's why
Very
that's
vital.
why that humans are able as insatiable beings. Because
Yeah.
more and more
More
that's
and
why
more.
we disregarded other living things that is really helpful to us.
It adds up to the fact that it is timeless.
Yeah.
Because today our environment is almost crumbling down and the climate change and everything. And I guess this book also has its lessons about environmental awareness.
Yes.
You see how this book really full of everything that you can think
I
of.
think everything.
But it's just, gamay na siya, but yeah, the story is really, from start to end, there's so much to learn. That's how amazing the author is.
Yes.
I love to have this conversation with you guys. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so